Now, let's look at the latest slate of games. First, we have the Redskins at the Rams. And after the way RG3 dismantled the Saints defense, it's hard to root against him playing against a lousy team that like the Rams have. So I've got to go with the Redskins to win here. Then you have the Cowboys at the Seahawks. And the Cowboys have a very talented all-around team. But the Seahawks are actually a pretty decent team as well. I don't think the Seahawks are really quite on the same level. Russell Wilson has been impressive so far, but he is a rookie QB going up against people like D. Ware, Sean Lee, Brandon Carr. I think he'll struggle a little bit. And so I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win. And then you have the Jets at the Steelers. Now, there are a lot of interesting storylines here. The Steelers, they seem to be on the decline lately. They're like, I wouldn't really classify this as a rebuilding year because they do still have Palomalu. They do still have Big Ben. They've got their leaders on both sides of the ball. But at the same time, they're not the team they used to be. And I think that the Jets, if they can repeat the potency that their offense displayed last week, then they could easily come away with the win against a banged-up Steelers roster. However, for the Jets, you have to mention the fact that there is no Darrelle Revis out with a concussion, no Destin Keller, which honestly he doesn't make as much of a big deal. I think the real X factor here is Mark Sanchez. He's done things like this before. One game he'll have 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. The next game he'll have 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And so it's hard to trust him, and it's hard to believe. That's why it's hard to believe that the Jets would win. So basically, it's just right now it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe in either of these teams right now. And at this point in time, I think I'd have to go with the Steelers having a bounce back week, and the Jets showing us that they're not quite ready to be who they think they are yet. And moving on to the next game, the last 4 o'clock game is the Titans at the Chargers. And this one has some very interesting storylines. First of all, Chris Johnson was horrible in the season opener. And now Jake Locker hurt his non-throwing shoulder. Though last I heard he was still planning to play. And the Chargers, they won last week, but it was a very ugly win, and it was just the Oakland Raiders. It's hard to believe that either of these teams would actually make the playoffs as they are right now. And in this matchup, though, I would have to take the Chargers. I can't have confidence in the Titans until CJ gets back to the 2K that he used to be, because his skill level. I'm not saying his skill level seems to have diminished over the years. He seems to be regularly doing worse. On the other hand, though, he did have 47 yards on 4 catches. So he's showing that the talent is still there. And the Sunday night matchup is the Lions versus the 49ers, and I think we all know why this was put on prime time. But I really don't consider this an even matchup. Not at this point. the 49ers manhandled the Packers while the Lions barely fought past the Rams. So, I think I have to go with the 49ers on this one. I think they are a better, more consistent team. The Lions, they have explosiveness, and they are a tough team to match up against, but I think the 49ers can do well. I think the 49ers, their biggest weakness on offense is a lack of explosiveness, but they have explosive playmakers there with Moss and with Manningham and even with Vernon Davis. If all Alex Smith has to do is just get the ball to them, and they'll do all the work. I think the 49ers take this one. And Broncos at the Falcons on Monday Night Football. Peyton Manning versus Matt Ryan. And at this point in time, I kind of feel this is somewhat of a passing the torch kind of thing, honestly. Because I think Atlanta has the more explosive offense. Yeah, Denver has a better defense. It's going to be a good matchup, but I'm going to have to give the advantage to Atlanta right now. You know, Matt Ryan, so many similarities with Peyton Manning. You know, Matt Ryan as a young guy, he's winning so many games, though not yet getting it done in the playoffs. But at this moment right now, as far as the regular season is concerned, and as far as this matchup is concerned, this is the best receiving core Matt Ryan has ever worked with. And the Atlanta defense isn't horrible. I just think that the Denver defense happens to be better. But a lot of people underrate the Denver defense, honestly. But yeah, I have to go with Atlanta for the win.